If you showed most Browns fans the results of the first quarter of this season back in August, I think you wouldn't get a hugely positive or negative reaction. There have been some pleasant surprises, some huge disappointments, and a lot of opportunity for growth. In this video, we'll be diving into the tape to look at how the Browns can improve on offense during the bye week in both the pass game and the run game. One of Watson's greatest strengths as a quarterback has always been his ability to throw the deep ball outside the numbers. In his 2020 season with the Texans, Watson was the most efficient quarterback in the NFL throwing outside the numbers in both passer rating and yards per attempt. Watson thrived in Houston's spread offense that attacked outside the numbers and put stress on defenses to respect the deep ball. In Watson's first year with the Browns, Stefanski didn't call the spread offense Watson was comfortable with, as they only threw it outside the numbers on 42.7% of throws. But predictably, when Watson targeted these areas of the field, he was much more efficient than when he didn't. Looking at his splits on throws both outside and inside the numbers in 2022, it's clear where Watson was at his best. His efficiency metrics, passer rating, and yards per attempt were better when throwing outside the numbers, despite attempting deeper, more difficult throws, as he had a greater average depth of target. With all this information, it seemed like there was a viable way to get Watson back to his all-star self in Houston. But through the first weeks of the season, the Browns' passing offense looked completely lost, out of sync, and just a continuation from last year's disastrous campaign. But against the Titans, the Browns' passing offense seemingly flipped a switch, moving the ball down the field at will. So why was it better? In weeks 1 and 2, only 37.3% of Watson's passes targeted outside the numbers. In week 3, Watson threw outside the numbers 54.5% of the time, an almost 20% difference. Stefanski made it a strategic priority to spread the field and throw the ball outside, because that is what Watson does best. There's no denying that part of the reason why the offense looked much better against Tennessee was simply better execution, but it was also because of a purposeful shift in offensive scheme to maximize Watson's best attributes, and his growing confidence is showing up on tape. On this 3rd and short, the Browns call a quick game passing concept which calls for 2 whip routes from Elijah Moore and DPJ. This is a tendency breaker off of mesh, as the Browns love to run mesh on 3rd down, where normally these 2 guys are running across the field. Instead, they cut back toward outside the field. As Deshaun Watson loads up to throw onto Cooper on the whip route, he's faced with a defender in his face. He evades not 1, but 2 Titan defenders, keeps his eyes downfield, and finds an open man to move the chains. Before, Watson was extremely skittish in the pocket and would only look to run when the play broke down, and he wouldn't create much out of structure. But against the Titans, he showed some glimpses of 2020 prime Deshaun Watson. The key moving forward to continue to unlock this offense will be to push through the inevitable growing pains of this new downfield shotgun style of offense, because although Watson will have bad weeks as he tries to get back to his previous level of play, the upside of this passing attack is just too good to pass up. The run game has been very disappointing, which is something that we didn't expect coming into the season. Nick Chubb's absence is obviously a key reason for the sputtering rushing attack, but the issues run deeper than just that, which is what makes it disappointing. The biggest issue plaguing the run game through 4 weeks is the offensive line's inability to create running lanes for the running backs. The Browns' running backs have been hit at the line of scrimmage 48.5% of the time this season, which is the 6th highest percentage among NFL teams. This means that they've had a defender in their face when they received the handoff on nearly half of all carries, which is not a recipe for rushing success. Surprisingly, in terms of running back production, the Browns haven't had a ton of drop-off from Nick Chubb. The rotation of Jerome Ford, Pierre Strong, and Kareem Hunt has been one of the top running back units in the last 2 weeks. They are creating extra yardage, making defenders miss, and finding the right lanes to run through as they rank top 10 in all of these categories. So moving forward, how can the Browns fix their run game? Firstly, Stefanski needs to stop trusting Jedrick Wills. The Browns have chosen to run the ball behind Wills as the lead blocker a staggering 46% of the time of all their runs, which is the third highest rate among all NFL offensive linemen. This is a rate like elite guys like Trent Williams and Zach Martin have, but the Browns are doing it with Jedrick Wills. When the Browns run to Jedrick Wills' side, they average 0.6 yards per carry, the lowest rate among any starting offensive lineman in the league. So the decision to have Wills in such a prominent role in this offense is baffling, to say the least. Take this play for example. Stefanski calls a power run play with Wyatt Teller as the pulling guard. On this play, Wills is responsible for helping Bitonio with the one tech down lineman before working up to the second level to pick up the weak side linebacker. When the ball is snapped, Wills is late recognizing the pursuit of the linebacker to the ball, and while he tries to redirect in time, he just doesn't have the time to do so. He reaches out with his upper body, something you don't want to do parallel to the line of scrimmage, and as a result, Jerome Ford has nowhere to go. The linebacker, Azeez Al-Shire, goes flying in to make the tackle, and the run is stopped for no gain. On top of his lack of success in the run game, Wills is one of the worst pass-protecting linemen in the league and is responsible for allowing 36.7% of the Browns' pressures this season. So it's not even like he has any redeeming qualities in the passing game either. The reality is Jedrick Wills is holding back this offense, and if he doesn't show signs of improvement coming out of the bye week fairly soon, his starting job will almost certainly be in jeopardy. Stefanski would be wise to run the ball more toward the right side of the line, where rookie DeJuan Jones is dominating in the run game. When the Browns run toward his side, which hasn't been very frequent, average 5.2 yards per carry. Jones is filling in pretty admirably for Jack Conklin and could continue to develop into a special player with all these reps he's getting, as long as he keeps improving week in and week out. As Stefanski has preached during his tenure in Cleveland, good football teams are resilient. They don't get too high or too low during the inevitable ups and downs over the course of a season. The Browns, who are sitting at 2-2 in their bye week, have had their early season growing pains. Now they will have a chance to respond on offense.